Hey Patreon. Now look, I know what you're thinking. That's not the sultry tones of Dalton. You're right. This is Mr. Puzzles Dane himself, and I'm here with a special patrons-only treat for you. Though I think I should probably give you a touch of context. So I started this YouTube project about a year ago. Not my first, not my last, but I was taking this one pretty serious. Plan was, I had this video essay about burnout, backlogs, and procrastination. Dalton was very generous. He agreed to do an interview with me. My plan was use clips from the interview in the video. Poetically, a backlog of personal responsibilities and my insistence on never taking a chance to pass up on procrastination killed the project in its tracks. So, script never came together, was never really happy with it, lost a lot of B-roll, it was a thing. I've been sitting on this completed interview for a while, and only one person's got to see the damn thing. So, for your listening pleasure, I've given the recording over as a TSMP bonus episode. I'll send along a link for the unlisted YouTube video, so check the show notes. Dalton might drop that in there. And maybe this will get a more general release down the line. Honestly, I don't know. So now, without further ado, this week on the Steam Machine Podcast, An Evening with Dane and Dalton. Cue that music. All right, good sir. So, you want to go ahead for all the party people out there and state your name and give any plugs you want to throw in there?
Yeah, sure, man. My name is Dalton Suter, and I am the co-host of a few different podcasts, mainly being the Steam Machine podcast that I think that's mostly what we're going to be chatting about today, where me, Nate, and Willie play through our massive backlog of PC games, mostly my backlog, I won't lie, but it's been a great time. And then the other ones, we got Yabs Pod, yet another BS podcast. That's me and my buddy Jeremy just kind of shooting the bull for a while on there. And then we got JRPG Report if you want your JRPG news. Been a little dry lately though, so I haven't posted an episode of that in about a month. But hoping to get back to that soon. But mostly I do recommend to the people that would be probably viewing this, the Steam Machine, for sure.
Well, I'd say probably a lot of people who are going to end up seeing any of this probably have heard of at least one of your shows already.
Fair enough.
But you kind of touched on the next thing I was going to talk to you about, Steam Machine podcast. Yep. You talked about going through your backlog. You want to kind of give a little bit more info on the general premise you got going?
So, yeah, man. Basically what I do is we have games that we want to play. So in the first, I guess, do you want the history real quick? Because I can give you how we did it in the beginning as opposed to how it is now. Okay. Or do you want to save that for later?
Oh, you can start from the beginning on.
All right. So when the show first started, it was me and my friend Ryan. And I was basically bored and out of work and needed a hobby, right? So I was like, Ryan wanted to start a podcast, but he didn't know what he wanted to start his podcast about. I said, well, I have a ton of PC games. And we can do library share, and we'll just play them and talk about them on the show. He's like, brilliant. And he sent me a microphone, and he's like, let's do it. So we kind of just started doing it. But at the time, I had developed, since we were the Steam Machine podcast, and at the time, I didn't think, that Steam machines are trains of sorts. And I also didn't think that Steam itself actually had a failed console-esque thing that was an attempt at a console called a Steam Machine.
I must have given you too much credit because the first time I heard the title, that was what I thought you were going for.
Yeah, gave me too much credit. The original premise was going to be a PC gaming / ARG kind of thing I wanted it to do. I wanted it to seem like me and Ryan were locked inside of this Steam Machine thing. And I had a picture of it and everything. And if you go back and listen to the very, very first episode, there's this really weird intro, unless I've cut it since then. I don't think I have.
I think it's still
But
there.
It was like, good evening, come in, welcome to the Steam Machine. And it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be this whole thing where we were locked in this thing until we played every game that it threw at us. And then so I used I made a big spreadsheet of all my games and use a number generator and would pick a game at random, and we'd play a game a week. Ooh, pardon me. So we got to the point where Ryan started getting busy with life. You know, he had a kid and work, and he started not showing up for episodes and stuff. So I was doing it solo for a little bit, but then I had Doom 2 come up, I believe. And that was when Nate told me, hey, my brother Willie is really into Doom. Like, he'd probably be a good guest to have on this episode if you think that's I was like, oh, that would be great. I'd love to have Willie on. So he came on and talked to me about that. And then I think before that I had Nate on for Hollow Knight. And that was kind of the getting those guys into it. And eventually they just came on and never left. So the way we do it these days is we still do the randomizer, but in a different way. Now I have it set up in the Discord, which I meant to get all my plugs out earlier. But if you would like to come join the Discord and vote on stuff, bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. It'll get you an invite in. Come vote. There is a fan poll that we do that. So it's like, is it 5? Yeah, 5. I randomly pick 5 games via a number generator on my spreadsheet and then throw them up there, and I let you guys vote on them. Other than that, we do host picks now because we'll talk more about this later, but it started getting a little tedious. So yeah, I don't want to get too much into that because, again, I think we'll cover that a little bit later. So that is the main thing now, is that we do our host picks, and it's like me, Nate, Willie, fan game poll. Me, Nate, Willie, fan game poll. And it depends. You know, we might pick, like, one of us might pick a game that's going to be a 2-parter. The fan poll game might be a 2-parter. You know, this year is the first year that we picked a game that's super long to play over the entire year. So it's been cool. It's been a better way to do it.
So you said started off doing it weekly when it was just you and Ryan?
Yeah, we did it weekly up until some serious burnout started kicking in for Nate later on. So yeah, me and Ryan, we were busting it out every week, and I was like adamant. Like, that's why I was busting out episodes by myself, because I knew, like, you have to be consistent. Like, you can't. I listened to a podcast. I won't name it, but I listened to a podcast that I love, but they are super inconsistent with their releases, like super inconsistent. And that's not going to help bring in new people. You want people to get that consistency and see that, so they come rolling in and they're like, oh, okay, these guys have been around for X amount of years. You know, with our case, we are actually coming up at the beginning of next month on the 3rd anniversary of the show. So these guys have been around for almost 3 years, and they've been consistently putting out episodes. People are more likely to stick around because that shows the dedication to content. That's going to be there. If they enjoyed it, they know that it's going to be there. And when we have to take time off, I do try to announce it ahead of time on socials and stuff so people know, like, hey, there's not going to be an episode this week. But it's gotten better as bi-weekly. But weekly, bro, weekly was rough. I
bet it was. So that'll kind of lead into the next question I got for you. Doing a game a week like you were, and now you're doing it every 2 weeks. What constitutes beating a game for you?
So beating a game, rolling credits on it. Like, if you can just roll the credits, maybe you didn't see everything in the game, but that's me considering beating it. So when I first started the show, I felt like we needed to beat every game. So, like, I would grind some of these games to try to beat them. Nowadays, not so much though. And actually, I asked Nate about one of these, and his response was like, he doesn't feel the need to beat the games as long as we play enough to be able to talk about them if we enjoy it or not, and if it's a good game, then yeah, we'll beat it. But as far as me, like, I'm not a completionist, so I'm not like, I need to get every single trophy unless I really like the game. So I say rolling credits is beating it.
Yeah, ain't very often for me that I just have to get everything in a game.
Yeah, it's very rare for me too. But right now, like, the game we're doing over the entire year is Persona 5 Royal, and since I've played that game before, I'm using 100% guide. So I'm trying to get every achievement when I roll through it, because that's my favorite game. So I want that bad.
So you started off, you wanted to try and grind everything out every week, and then kind of got more to the point of just play enough so that you know you can talk about it, beat it if you love it.
Yeah, that's more of the style that we go now, and it's become much more lax. I don't think any of us are as stressed when it comes to doing, playing the games and such. It's just become an easier thing, and I think everybody's been enjoying it more since we've switched. And I think that might come through like for listeners as well, because there were times, and I don't think he'd mind me saying this, like there were times that like I could tell Nate was just over it. You know what I mean? Like I could just see it in his face when we were recording. But it was because like we were playing games that he didn't particularly care for, and it was weekly, so it was like and there was a lot of other things, so it's happened to all of us. I've been in that position where I was like, Ryan was bailing on me at first. I was always like, man, just forget it. But so going to the bi-weekly has just made it more enjoyable for sure.
And then switching from having everything randomized to taking turns, so at least once every month or two, you're going to at least get one game that you want to play, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's helped a lot because the randomizer there for a while was just throwing some garbage, and we weren't having it. It was like, I don't want us to have, say, 4 or 5 episodes in a row where we're all like, man, this game sucks. Terrible. Whoa. And then we just talk, because it's like, it's just negativity. And I'm trying to not be as negative as I was when I was a younger dude, So I'm trying to be a more positive person. And so I'm always trying to like talk about the good things I find. Not that we don't crap on games now. Do not get me wrong. Go listen to Blair Witch. We crap on games. But I do try to look at the positives of it more often than not.
So just ballparking, out of curiosity, how many games are we talking on your backlog that you're going for?
I can answer that, actually, if I pull up GOG Galaxy really quickly. So between Steam, GOG, Ubisoft, which is like 2 or 3, and Origin, which is like 1 or 2. But mostly Steam, GOG, and Epic. Steam, GOG, and Epic. Epic being mostly the free games that everyone should be claiming, by the way.
Yeah, that's all my Epic library is.
And honestly, this isn't even including all of the free games that I've gotten from Amazon Prime through Twitch Prime. My number is sitting at 2,574. So
wow.
I have spent a lot of money on games over the years, right? But I've also gotten a lot of bundles from like Fanatical, Humble Bundle, Green Man Gaming, all of these places, or like buying mystery key packs where you get like 20 random games. So not all of the games are great, which is why we started handpicking it and then doing the 5 random pick choices and letting y'all vote on which one you want to see the most, which I think right now Morrowind is Elder Scrolls 3. Morrowind is winning the poll. But yeah, there's a lot. And honestly, I don't know if we'll get through all of them with everyone on the show. And I mean that, like, I know that there are certain games that Nate's not going to like. So like if he doesn't want to play them, I can't fault him for that. You know what I mean? Like the tactical RPGs, the strategical games. Like he's not into that kind of stuff. He's not into tactical combat things. I'm sure that there are styles of games that Willie's not really into, that he's not going to want to be on. I have some more adult games that'll probably be like just me talking about them on the Patreon, But I really would like to do them all. I would like to continue doing this until I just can't anymore for some reason, It's fun. It's fun to be able to like get together with your buddies and just kind of chat and talk about video games. And the fact that people want to listen to us do that, that's pretty sweet.
So the fun for you is the actual conversation of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I enjoy playing the games too. Don't get me wrong, especially when I get to pick. Though I will say, y'all have been doing some great voting out there, because we've gotten some good fan picked games here recently. Like we just played Kingdom Hearts and that was awesome. But, what was the question? I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
You're fine, dude. We just talking. Which one was I on? See, this is where we'll edit things out. I don't even remember where we were, because I've just kind of been spitballing in different places on the list.
Oh, that's fine. Well, continue on then. We'll just roll with it.
The places that you get your fun, the conversation, but you enjoy games too.
Yeah. I do enjoy playing the games, don't get me wrong, because I love playing video games. But like chatting with my buddies about it and just like cracking jokes and having a good time. I really try to make it like this is a conversation that you would be sitting and having with your buddies having a beer or whatever else your fancy is while you're hanging out. Just say, let's just use Chrono Trigger for an example. Like everybody's sitting around just chatting about Chrono Trigger and how much they love it, and oh man, yeah, and when you went into that first battle and it didn't cut to a different screen, it's like the enemies just came out, and it's like, whoa, that's so cool. I try to convey that feeling to audio form, so that way when someone's listening to it, they can feel like they're just chilling with some friends. You know what I mean? And that's why I like the Discord a lot, because people listen along and they chime in the show chat room, and they give us their side of it, and I can remember the conversation. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's their take on it and stuff. And it's just comforting to me in a way, as weird as it is to say that. It's nice. It's like having a bunch of friends that I hang out with all the time. Yeah, it's very nice.
You don't just feel like you're shouting out into the ether.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what I expected the podcast to be when I started it. Like the fact that I think we're not super huge or anything, but it's like I think our average listener base right now is like 102. And I mean, like the fact, and Jeremy put it to me in a way. He goes, people compare their numbers and stuff to on YouTube podcasts or anything to these people that get millions of views and all this stuff, and it's like, and you feel like you're really just kind of like a droplet in the water of everything. He said, but dude, you get 102 people listen to you every episode. If you put 102 people in a room, it's going to be uncomfortable because of how many people were in there. He goes, like, that's nothing to scoff at. So I try to always keep that in mind, and I hate that I'm giving Jeremy that credit. I hate it. He's the canon villain of the TSMP lore.
And I just made it worse because now it's on camera.
Yeah, and now it's out there for everyone to see, but that's okay. I'll give him this one. He gets one. Everybody gets one.
So you've talked a little bit about kind of getting burnout, doing a game every week. So yeah, what are the kind of hurdles that you hit trying to get to the backlog?
Well, there are a lot of games that I would like to play that are classic. Like they have their purpose for what they served at the time, but they probably haven't aged very well. Ultima 4 jumps out to me. The original Ultima, Alakabeth, like one of the first PC RPGs ever. Akalabeth, or I think that's how you say it. Lord British. I don't remember. Richard Garriott, that's his name.
Yeah.
I would like to play like Wasteland 3, like some of these other games. The old Dungeons and Dragons games. I don't know how much Willie and Nate would enjoy those though, So I'm always trying to think about that. So, I mean, there are a lot of games that I would like to play, but I just don't bring them up because I don't want to burden them with feeling like they need to play a game for the show that they don't want to, which is why I always, like I said earlier, like I always try to put out there, like if they don't like what we're playing, they don't have, like I'm not going to make them play it. They can just say like, no, I'm going to take this one off. I don't want to play that. That's fine. I'll try to find somebody to come guest, or I'll do it by myself. It is what it is. Like, so, but I try to pick things that we'll all enjoy, which helps with not keeping them from burning out. But I also pick something that I'm going to enjoy. So that's going to say, and they try to do the same thing too. Like Nate was upset that I didn't like his past like 2 or 3. He's like, my next pick has to be something that Dalton is going to love. Damn it. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I mean, dude, I was like, I didn't hate Ori. It just wasn't my style of game. I loved the art style. It was beautiful. That was about it. But like burnout, like just, I'm trying to think about how to put it into words. I just try to avoid it by, like I said, when we switched to bi-weekly, that took a weight off. I didn't have to get a game done a week. That's asking a lot when I like to play RPGs that are 40 to 100 hours. That's a lot to put in.
Yeah, that's like 2 full-time jobs for 1 week.
Yeah. And it's like, at the time I didn't have a job. And then when I got a job, it was just no longer feasible. Like, and I think we switched to bi-weekly before I got a job, or maybe I don't remember exactly when it happened, but it benefited me. It benefited Nate. It benefited Willie. Like that really helped. So if anybody's out there listening and you're like dealing with burnout and you do weekly content, try doing bi-weekly. Like it might run some people off at first, but since we've started doing bi-weekly, our numbers have risen slowly but surely. And I feel like that's because we're coming through as we enjoyed it more because we took more time with it. We didn't rush through it and then just try to pound out an episode. And it's really, really helped a lot.
So out of curiosity, when you're doing all this, you struggle with procrastination?
Yes. Yes, I do. Procrastination is my middle name, unfortunately. And it'll be like, there's sometimes when we'll have a game that I'm like, it'll take 10 to 15 hours to beat it. I'm like, okay, I'll start this next week. We have 2 weeks. I'll play what I want for this first week, and then I'll play that game next week. And then I start to play it, and either A, really like it and wish I'd have spent more time with it, or B, it's way harder than I thought it was, and I'm like, oh no. Now I'm going to stress to get this done before we record. Because work and stuff, I don't think about it, and then next thing I know, it's 3 days before we record, and I haven't played. It's like, oh no. Which luckily I've kind of gotten better about that here recently, but yeah, I'm a procrastinator. Like, there's sometimes I'll get done recording, I download everybody's thing, I set it up to edit for the next day, and then I go to sleep. Because as you know, we record late.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. But we record late. And it's funny because anytime we have a guest and stuff, we're always like, okay, we'll try not to go too long. And then we go like 2.5, 3 hours because we're just all having fun shooting the bull, and it's just, I don't know. I love it, but I know that it is not the greatest situation for everybody involved. So apologies.
Oh, for the record, I've always had a blast every time I've been on your shows.
Yeah, me too, man. You're always fun to have on. It's always a blast, for sure.
So when you're doing procrastination, you'd say it's more of a motivation thing or life getting in the way? Sounds like a motivation thing, maybe.
I would say it's like kind of like a combo of both. I'd say it was a good hearty combo of both, because it's like if I have a rough day at work, man, do I want to come home and play Blair Witch, for example, or like do I want to come home and play Rat Venture, Tiny Bridge, Rat Venture, whatever that game was, or do I want to come home and play WWE 2K and put somebody through a table and make myself feel better? I'm probably gonna go with the wrestling games. You know what I'm saying? Like that's always so. Like anytime you see me playing wrestling game late at night, it's probably because I had a rough day at work. But I also just love those games. So it's very hard. It's why I have not let myself get sunk back into an MMO because I was getting real into MMOs there for a bit, and it was taking away my attention from the show, and it became noticeable to me. So I righted that. I do love MMOs though. But as far as the procrastination goes, I'd say it's half motivation because I want to play something else, and it's half life getting in the way because I'm just tired from work. And, ladies wanting to hang out and things like that. You know how it goes.
Personally, every time I've started to try and get anything done, because I've been trying to get this channel started for like over a year now. So, appropriately, first episode's going to be instantly something about procrastination here. Every time I sit down to start recording something for an idea, load up the Steam list, go to the game that I know I enjoy, I love, I want to talk about it, and end up playing a popcorn game instead because just something stupid and like just turn my brain off. I don't want to have to actually set the stuff up.
I cannot tell you how many times I've closed at work and come home and been beat and should play a game for the show, and I load up an idle game, like an idle clicker, and just sit there and I watch a YouTube video and just mindlessly click. It just happens, man. It's just like, yeah, it's something that let's say I can just turn my brain off and just relax for a while.
And like I get down to like totally off script here. I'm just talking right now. So like I keep getting off on these weird rabbit holes. Like I've had a script halfway done for Nier ever since I was on the show with y'all a couple months back. I beat the game. I got just about all, if not all, the achievements in the game. 100% of it. Didn't record a minute of it.
Oh, bro.
Realize what I've done. So now, naturally, right now, I'm trying to do just play Binding of Isaac Rebirth with the full DLC instead of going back and doing anything with Nier, which I had such a blast with.
Maybe you just need that cleanse. Like when you get Binding of Isaac and when you feel like you're done with that, you could be like, all right, now I can go back to Nier with a fresh set. And it might change some opinions, and it might add a section to your video at the end that you can then procrastinate another month or two.
And the really funny part is I could totally use that for B-roll. This whole story, haven't recorded any Binding of Isaac footage. It's like, Dane, do you think you're working in the right medium here?
Well, make yourself a little sticky note and put it on one of your monitors that says record footage of Isaac. And then you can look at that a month from now and be like, oh yeah, and load up Dead Space and start playing Dead Space, recording stuff.
I was sitting here thinking, I'll probably look at that and go, who's Isaac? But yeah, Dead Space, that's a good one. All right, so let's bring this on home. We got a couple more left here.
All right.
So we talked about the real fun and enjoyment you get from the shows. That was the next one. We had already covered that. Being honest with yourself. Do you think you'll ever finish the backlog? Not even for the show. Do you think you'll ever finish a backlog?
Ooh, no. No, because the backlog will never go away. Like, there's always going to be new games that come out that you want to play. So you buy them. Or you say, I'll wait a while. And then suddenly there's a Steam sale. So you buy 5 or 6 games that you've been wanting to play for a while that they're stupid cheap. And then now you got 5 or 6 games and you might get to one of them before next time. There's a big sale with a couple games that you've wanted to play for a long time. And GOG has them for $1 a piece. So then you buy 15 of them. And then you got 15 old school games sitting there waiting for you. Then you go look on Epic and hey, they're giving away Death Stranding. And it's like, I go on Twitch and hey, you can have every SNK game ever for free. Here you go. And I'm like, it's just so many. And it's like, I buy something from Fanatical. I buy a bundle. They're like, hey, you $1.99. We'll give you 5 mystery keys. And you're like, what? Yes. Click. Of course. I feel like that with Dave Chappelle and the internet. Of course I do. It's like, man. So yeah, no, I don't think I ever will. If I'm being completely honest with myself, I do not, unless I end up moving somewhere where there is literally no internet and all I have are the games that I have installed on my computer, then I'll beat those. But then I don't know what to do with any of the ones I don't have installed. That's why so I know my show is named after Steam, but I really like GOG Galaxy because GOG lets you go in to, there's this little button they say that says extras, and it, like, you might have wallpapers or like, the game, it might come with the game manual because some of the games that you play on GOG, you literally need the manual to play the game.
Yeah, back in the day when that was an optional read.
No, yeah, you need the manual. So they give you the manuals and stuff in the extras, but they also give you this little thing that says download offline installer. And you can have you can go out and buy a 10 terabyte external hard drive and download all of these offline installers from games that you get on GOG because they're all DRM free. So you can then take those installers and just have them on this thing. And any computer that you ever use, you can just plug it in, pull it over, and install that game instantly. I don't condone it, but you could go to a friend's house and plug it up to his computer and install anything you wanted instantly because it's DRM free. You own it. There is no digital rights management at all. Steam, Epic, not letting you do that at all. Not happening. Unless you do family share, and then if they find out you're not family, good luck. GOG rules. It really does. GOG. If I could, I would change the show. I mean, I don't want to rebrand the show now, but I would change it to the GOG Complex.
That is an awesome title. I'm not gonna lie.
I really like anytime we do games and we play them on GOG. I've thought about like subtitling them the GOG Complex and then doing the thing because
You're not going to finish.
No, but I'm going to do my best.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What would it take for you to say that you're content with what you accomplished?
To know that somebody out there like was having a day that they didn't think that they were going to get through, and they found our show and it helped them get through that. Like, that's the kind of stuff for me. Is like if the show is helping someone through entertainment, just making you laugh, talking about one of your favorite games. Sorry if we crap all over it. That's satisfying enough for me. Like, I'm content with that. Like, the fact that I can entertain people with my voice and like they like us enough that they contribute to Patreon, which helps me like pay for insurance and right now it's helping me pay off the bill left over from my dog that we lost. But so like things like that it's mind blowing to me. It's mind blowing. People like us enough to give us money every month. It blows my mind. And I'm so, I guess overwhelmed is the word sometimes, with some of like the numbers that we get and things, because it's just wild. It's just wild. I never thought that the show would get to where it's at. Not that it's not, like I said, again, not that it's huge, but I never thought it would even get to this point. So, I mean, if we had to end tomorrow, I'd be sad, but I'd be like, dude, we did almost 3 years worth of content, dude. That's not bad. That's not bad. But for me to be really like, I can end this show and I feel okay about it. Yeah. To just know that we entertain people whenever that is, whenever that day comes, if I know that I have entertained people, I will be content with signing off. So it's not really about the number for me. It's about the journey and the friends we make along the way.
Well, dude, it's been fun.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming out, staying up, talking with me.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Always.
Do you have anything you want to throw out there that we didn't talk about? Any miscellaneous you want to throw out there?
Yeah. Whoever's watching this, if you like Diablo, go play Grim Dawn. It's better. At least in Diablo 3. It's better than Diablo 3. I can't speak on the Diablo 2 remaster. Haven't played it. Really want to. But Grim Dawn's good. Underrated.
I went Path of
I know
Exile.
that's random, but... Huh? Path of Exile is also good. I've heard that Path of Exile is good. I played it a little bit, and I opened up the skill tree and was like, wow.
Yeah.
I will look at this later. And I logged, because it was like 5 a.m, and I logged out, and then I ended up uninstalling it for some reason and never went back. I should check out Path of Exile again.
It's the Final Fantasy X sphere grid on steroids.
I love the sphere grid, though. So, like, I might be all about that. Other than that, dude, yeah, I was talking about MMOs. I just want to give a quick shout out to Black Desert. I know a lot of people were like, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, New World. People in the back just shouting that. No, New World! Got that New World! But over in the corner is this game called Black Desert. Now, it's a Korean MMO, so it's very grindy. But man, it's the prettiest MMO you'll ever play. It is ridiculously pretty for an MMO game. And the combat is fluid. It's chunky. When you hit something, it feels like you really smack it. When you cast a spell, it looks cool. Just check it out if you're into it. And it goes on sale for like $1.99 all the time. And it's $9.99 usually. Base game, I think. So I don't know why I'm plugging random games. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I know about. I know random things like that.
Well, hey, dude, you just named two that weren't even on my radar.
Fair enough. Oh, wait. One other thing. The game, the one sleeper hit of the show that none of us had any experience with the series at all, but I picked it because I always wanted to check the series out, and it ended up being one of our favorite games of all time. Dude, shout out to Yakuza 0. Like, the Yakuza series, tremendous, and Yakuza 0 was like a whole new world opening up to us. Just what a game. Everyone go listen to that episode, because you're going to hear us gush about something, and like that's where I think we really shine, is when we really like. I mean, I get that we're probably funnier when we don't like a game, but I feel like we come through the best when we are like, dude, this game's so good, and just going into it like that.
I think that might have been one of the earlier episodes whenever I started listening to y'all, because you convinced me to add that to my backlog.
So good. Dude, it's so good. It's so ridiculous in the best way possible. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you having me on and listening to me ramble, because I am good at rambling. And if you listen to any of the shows, you will also hear me ramble. So look forward to that.
Hey, I'm sure we got a lot of great stuff in there. So hopefully this won't end up getting saved, tucked away in a corner, and never seeing the light of day. I won't. Maybe
if it does, I enjoyed the conversation regardless.
But so if I can get this video done, definitely going to have some quotes shoved in there from this. Maybe if you're cool with it, we can release this as a bonus episode. And if something happens and I have to scrap this, if you want, you can take this, you can throw it up on yours. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's fine with me. Absolutely, dude. Just let me know.
Oh.
And I mean, if you want, I can poke and prod you and tell you to get the video done. But I mean, I don't want to be a burden. So whatever works for you, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being on. I'm not going to have like a formal outro. Just thanks for being here.
You're welcome, my good sir.
everybody, and welcome to the first non-musical Sunday special of, at least of the ones of my doing. My name is Dalton Suter, and I have a special guest joining us this week to catch up and bring us up on how he has been doing since he has passed the torch over to me. We have the lovely Mr. James Fisher. James, how you doing, my brother?
I am doing fantastic, and that is definitely the first time somebody's called me lovely, but thank you, sir.
Well, you are. You are a very lovely fellow.
How you been doing, brother?
I've been doing all right, man. I've been doing all right. The usual, looking for work, doing yard work, playing video games. It's about
doing 14 podcasts a week.
Yeah. 14 going on 27. So many, dude. I had an idea. I was talking about it in the JRPG Report Discord real quick before we get to catch it up with you. And I was telling him, I'm like, I wanted to do a general gaming news show, right? Because I've thought about when I'm looking for news for this show, I'm like, man, there's so much other stuff that I don't want to bother the people on this show with because this is specifically for JRPG content, And I'm like, I should dress up like an army general and take a picture and call it General Gaming News with your host, General Gaming News.
That's so cheesy, it might actually work.
That's what I was thinking. Exactly, yeah. It's so cheesy that it would be like, all right, what is this about?
Exactly. And hope you don't get sued by the general insurance company, right?
Oh, man, yeah, I didn't think about that.
I don't know. It's the first thing that popped in my head was Shaq and the general. So that's
oh my god. So man, how is the new job been going for you, sir?
Oh, dude, it's fantastic. I have no complaints whatsoever. Things are extremely good. It is. I'm doing the same type of work. It's just I can't even tell you how much better of a company, environment, schedule, and a few more bucks didn't hurt either.
Oh yeah, that never fails to make things better.
No, it's like, and I've told people too. It's like working from home is a blessing and a curse, and I lived that life for a long time. So it's almost been a relief to be stuck in an office for 40 hours a week. Kind of just you get that break. When I go to work, I work, and when I'm done work, I'm done. There's no more late nights, staying away from the family in the office or weekends or any of that nonsense. So it's just been fantastic. Obviously the main sacrifice was the podcast, but having done it for 2 months, I know that there was no way it would have been possible to do that during the week in addition to everything else.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can imagine that because around here, like as hard as I try in this area that I live, dude, good luck finding a 40-hour-a-week job. You know what I mean? If you don't already have one.
It is tough. It's one of those deals like you almost need a job to get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they want you to be, what is it? What was the thing I saw the other day? They want you 18 20 fresh out of college with 15 years of experience of work.
Everybody's got that.
Everybody, yeah. I started at 5, didn't you? Everybody starts at 5.
No, it's almost like I almost view this new job as more of a promotion from my old job, whereas I put in the time there to get this one. That's really how you have to look at things anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good way to look at it. That is a very much I believe they'd call that a glass half full look at it.
That's how I choose to do things, and it has been it's been very surreal to hear you on the podcast. You're like, this is like, and then now we're doing this podcast. So, but I just want to say first and foremost, man, you're doing an awesome job, and it's been a relief off my shoulders to know that the podcast is in good hands and growing and reaching new peoples, and the community on Discord's awesome. I liked it's not a shameless plug if it's your plug, right?
Yeah, why not? But yeah, I appreciate that, man. I've been having a lot of fun with it, dude.
Good deal. Yeah, but no, it's been fun catching it. I don't get every week. I don't remember to, but it's been fun to keep up that way. And now I don't have to search for news every week. I can just listen to you every week.
Yeah, I'll do the searching for you. That's what we're good at, man.
Absolutely. But yeah, thanks for having me on. It's been nice to disconnect, but I'm looking forward to reconnecting with everybody. I took your invite, so I'll pop in on Discord every once in a while if somebody wants to get in on that.
Yeah,
we'll be there.
Yeah, and the Discord came about because like when I took over, I put a post out on the Patreon, and I was like, so like because I know that like I don't have a job right now, so I have a lot more time. I was like, is there anything else that you guys would like to see on here? And I believe I had 2 different people be like, hey, can we have a Discord channel? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. So
well, we had talked about that, late in the cycle when I was still doing it, that I'd love to do that, and I think you'd even offered to be an admin, but it was just it was one more thing that I didn't have time for. But it's awesome that you do have that, because that's a fun little community over there, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when I get them talking about music. I always love that.
You are a music guy, my friend.
I am. I do love my music. So there are a few games on the horizon, my good sir, that are looking quite promising.
There's more than a few, but
well, yeah, that's true. The first big one that I want to ask you about, because I have zero knowledge about this series, so I would like to get your input on it, is how excited are you for Xenoblade Chronicles 3?
Just a wee bit. It is. We've talked many times, but in the past, of how many hours I put into Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I finally got the chance to replay, part 1 they released on the Switch. That was one of those games that I didn't get to, on the Wii U or Wii.
Yeah, I believe it was the Wii U.
Yeah, either one. And of course, never have played X either, but I've been playing Xeno for a long time. This one's been interesting because when you get to this point in a series, just the announcement alone is enough for you to buy it. So I've been on kind of media blackout for a while, and I don't know anything. Like, even if you've talked about it, like, skip, I don't.
Oh yeah, you know what? I don't blame you.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't need to be sold. Like, I'm going to play it.
So it's that
interesting. It's going to be that good. Interesting enough. I also talked about previously that I did not play Torna, the DLC for Xenoblade 2, but that has been remedied, and I have played it and absolutely loved it. So I am ready to go with this thing. I pre-ordered it on Amazon, so hopefully it'll show up on my door on the 29th. I'm a little afraid because I did prefer 2 to 1, and I think it's going to be a little more like 1 if I'm reading it right. But I think it's going to be fantastic no matter what.
I've played a little bit of 1, just dabbling in that, and I think I did like the first couple battles, and it's definitely got an interesting battle system.
It is very unique. It is not everybody's cup of tea, for sure. It's auto attacks for your regular attacks, and you control, the more advanced stuff and party chains. And it is so deep that even after putting hundreds of hours into those 2 games in the DLC, I still have not mastered the battle system. Not even close. Like, things just kind of happen, and I'm happy when they do, but I don't understand it. I'll be the first to admit. I think sometimes it works, but other times you're just like, well, hope I can get through this thing.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like MMO combat in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of the inspiration, but it's just its own little thing in a sea of JRPGs. It has nailed its formula, and I'm hoping that it kind of continues that and evolves the combat. I know the narrative's going to be fantastic. While it's part 3 and they're connected, it's still a whole new deal. I'm not sure the time frame that's going to be on, but very, very excited, to say the least.
Well, that's what's up, man. Also, so I'm sure you'll be happy to know this, sir. Not only are we playing, or not only am I doing the Final Fantasy VI Let's Play for the Patreon, so I'm playing through Final Fantasy VI. Steam Machine is now currently playing through Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
So I've never beaten either of those, so I'll get to beat both of those games.
So you're playing them at the same time?
I might I might like take a break from 6 to do 7 and then go back to 6 so I don't burn out on both of them. Just from grinding and stuff, but it's they're both really good so far. 6, I want to admit that 6 took me a little bit to get once it started getting rolling. But once it did, I was like, okay, let's see where this goes.
Okay.
And it was very reminiscent to me of how I felt when I played the first Trails in the Sky.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, this looks really cute, but like, what's actually happening? But when stuff started happening, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a train ride you don't want to get off of just from the narrative standpoint.
Yeah.
I guess you're playing the Pixel remaster?
No.
Oh.
No, so I bought Final Fantasy VI on Steam before they took it off and put up only the Pixel remaster. And fun fact that I shared on the Steam machine is when I loaded up Final Fantasy VI, I got an achievement called thanks for playing or something like that. And it was like, thank you for buying our game. Please enjoy. I'm one of the last people that'll ever get that achievement because that version of the game is no longer available on Steam.
Exactly. Yeah, there can't be too many people that's just in the backlog waiting to go.
I think I was 94% of players have this achievement. So there's like a 6% people that have never opened it.
Interesting. Wow. So I know there were some differences in it. I don't know if you're getting the superior version or how it would compare, but it's the same game, obviously, just going to be some graphical differences.
Yeah. So 6 was on Steam was a port of the mobile version.
Okay.
But I used mods to make it look better.
Okay.
I think it just like it changed the sprites to like a more cleaner version. I mean, it's still the bright that style that was kind of like in the mobile version, but it's just a cleaned up version of it, and just it looks nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm hoping that they will finally put those on Switch because that would probably be the way I'd like to pick those up.
Wow, they're not on Switch?
The Pixels are not. No.
Wow.
There's no way of playing it. It's not even on Nintendo Online, which is baffling to me.
That's really strange.
Yeah. The only Super Nintendo JRPG that they have that you can play for the Nintendo Online is Earthbound.
Oh man, I figured they would have added more since the last time I checked it. That's kind of a bummer.
It's a big bummer. I was curious. I fired it up the other day and I was like, I wonder what they got on there. Oh, well, this is pretty meager. Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
I need to look up the new PlayStation thing when they're adding all the early PS1 games and see like what all is going to be added to that.
I'm assuming it's everything at some point.
I would hope, if they could go the route. I mean, because, Game Pass, the way it works on Xbox is they'll put up games, but they'll cycle older games off and then they'll kind of like put them up there every now and then. I don't know if Sony's going to do that or if Sony's just going to be like, you're paying us $120. Here is this.
Since they're, trying, and it hasn't happened yet, but, talks of taking the PS3 and Vita stores down. Like, if you're going to limit access that way, you need to enable it a different way.
Yeah, 100%. But I would really like to see them bring some of those older JRPGs that like I didn't get to play as a kid, like As Your Dreams, things like what was the other one? Parasite Eve. I never got to play Parasite Eve.
Oh man, that's they can. I hope they bring those back, but they've got to do something because those games are going to be unplayable on his TV.
Right.
Quality. I mean, Parasite Eve was so jaggy. Even in my mind's eye. So I can't, I don't want to see that thing on a 55 inch. It would look terrible. I
tell you what, I think this TV I have in my room, that's like an actual TV and not my computer monitors, is like, 32.
Mm-hmm.
It's not super huge or anything. I loaded up, not Valkyrie Profile. Is it Vagrant Story with Ashley?
Okay.
I just wanted to see what it looked like. That game. Brother, that game has a lot of jagged edges too.
Yeah, it was pretty brown back then, so I can only imagine what it's like now. I didn't care for that game, by the way. Just fun fact.
Oh no, I've heard the story's really good, but I've never heard anyone talk about the gameplay, which makes me wonder if the gameplay's not great, but the story's just really good.
I just thought it was broken. Like I couldn't play it, so I don't know. Maybe if I gave it another chance, I might be able to now. But at the time, I couldn't play it.
So. Cycling back real quick to Final Fantasy VII. So where I'm at in the game in the original, I just got Nanaki, Red 13, and I made my way up to the top of the Shinra building and had the talk with the people, and then I was in the jail.
Okay,
right, and then when the jail opens, and then I saved right there because I was gaming with Nate and Willie last night.
Okay,
but I'm assuming that's the first time that you meet old Right.
That is literally when it hits the fan. That is the moment.
Amazing.
There's some blood trails and you got eerie music going on the whole time. Yeah, he's about to make his appearance. So
awesome.
Yeah, you were. I'll give you kudos for stopping at that point because I don't know if I could have done that.
It was only because Nate and Willie were waiting on me to be like, "All right, let's game," and I'm like, "Okay, hold on, I have to find a save point."
Yeah, I get that.
But man, yeah, I'm definitely gonna dive into more of that today because it's picking up, and I'm enjoying it more than I thought I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
I am using mods to make the character models look a little better. I'll send you some screenshots so you can see Cloud not look so polygonal.
I was about to say not to look like he has rectangles for forearms.
No, no, they based, I don't know how to describe it. They're like bigger character models than the chibi almost of the original, but they're more proportioned like normal humans.
Okay.
And they almost have like an anime look to them in a way. I'll have to take, like I said, I'll take some screenshots and I'll post them in the Discord.
That'd be good. Yeah, I'd love to see what they did because there's, like, I wouldn't want to see too much change, but yeah, just not as blocky would be. I guess more like 8 or 9's look, but with those characters.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're going for. Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
I guess it probably have to be more like 9 with a little bit squattier than 8's like tall and lanky.
Yeah, it's almost like a combo of both.
Okay.
And then I think they based Cloud's look off of his Advent Children outfit. Nice. So like his outfit isn't quite as bright purple.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said about the original, but Advent was probably superior. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but the original Final Fantasy, like even like for its time, dude, that game looked really good, especially for the pre-rendered background stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Chef's kiss. So at what point in the original Final Fantasy VII is it going to be safe for me to load up Remake and play through and just see how that is? Like, I don't want to beat it yet, but...
So Remake goes until you leave Midgar. So that's basically it. Once you get... And then with Intermission, they did add 1 or 2 little extra scenes that you see kind of in the town past after you leave Midgar, but that's as far as it gets.
Okay.
You'll know, yeah. When you finally exit and you're finally on the open world of 7, the original, then you're good to go.
Awesome. Yeah, because I just want to like load it up and see this combat system that I hear everyone rave about, and then like I want to see these graphics I hear everyone rave about. But I've been holding off because I had never gotten through 7, the original. So
I would absolutely anybody I would recommend to play the original first, at least to that point. Yeah, that'd be a good comparison because you're going to take 6 or 7 hours of original gameplay and then stretch it into 20, 25. So it's going to take you a lot longer to get through Remake than the original.
Oh yeah, and that's why I was like, I'm not going to focus on beating Remake, but I want to know. I have to scratch this itch that has just been itching since it came out.
Yeah, it is phenomenal in every stretch. Obviously, I would prefer it if they kept turn-based. That would have been my preference. But what they did for an action battle system was phenomenal.
They did some sort of like pseudo turn-based thing too, like they did in 15, right? Where you could like, when you weren't moving, everything paused.
It just plays it for you, basically.
Oh.
Yeah. What it'll do is a semi like Xenoblade, where it auto regular attacks, and then you just control, your more advanced options, your limit breaks, and all the special moves and magic. But it's good, but eventually I took it over and wanted to play on my own.
And that leads me to, so which one do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about Remake Part 2? You want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we can go into Rebirth. I guess that's a natural transition.
Okay. You know a lot more about Final Fantasy VII than me. So, do you think that this going to be the disc 2 of Remake in a sense?
In a sense, I believe. Well, I mean, we didn't even get really to the end of disc 1 with Remake. So it's kind of going to be the end of disc 1 into disc 2. There's a lot of speculation out there about how far they're going to go with it. I guess the last interview I saw, they actually considered making it a 2-part game rather than a trilogy. But that has been confirmed. It will be 3 parts. So that's good to know, right?
Yeah.
That we're not talking about 5 or 6 games of spreading this thing out completely, but
hey, I'm all for it if they do remakes. The original, okay, so Final Fantasy 7 was 3 discs, so that's 3 parts. So then next, let's get Final Fantasy 8, give us 4 parts. Then give us Final Fantasy 9 with 4 parts.
See, I don't just on a separate tangent, I don't think they're going to do that. I think if they do remake those games, it's just going to be a remake, a remaster really with modern graphics. I don't think we're going to get the Final Fantasy 7 treatment to those games.
Which is unfortunate because I think of all the games, 8 has so much to flesh out that they just sped through. Like the garden stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or even like what was it, Nord, whatever his name was, the weird thing in the bottom of Balam Garden.
Oh,
like,
what you're talking?
Where did
30-year-old memories or whatever?
Yeah, I'm just like, where did he come from? How all of a sudden all of that is happening, and then there's a big battle going on, and it just happens out of nowhere, and it's kind of just like I would love to see that stuff fleshed out, but I'm also a stan for Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, I think. I mean, maybe they could add some things to it, but I just don't think there's the world to flesh out that they've established like there is in 7. For them, it's special. You know, all the offshoot games, all the lore. Like, there's so much material for them to go into. Now, Midgar was its own thing because they really wanted to flesh out that city. I don't think we're going to get, like Gold Saucer. Like, that's not going to be 10 hours of game. It's just going to be its own thing, right?
Probably. Just quick side. I cannot wait to get to the Gold Saucer.
My fear is Gold Saucer could even be the last one. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see where Rebirth goes to. There's a certain tragic scene that's the main idea. That's where it's going to end at, but it's just hard to tell, really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to have spoilers for a game, but the game's been out for a while, so it's.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if I am not the only person who hasn't beaten Final Fantasy VII that is associated or listens to this show.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like everyone's favorite Final Fantasy game except for me, because I never had it as a kid, so I never played it.
Well, or me, or the old school guys don't. It's not our favorite, but
I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right. Your favorite's 6, right?
Yes, sir. You're playing it, so that's
yeah.
I'd say I'd probably even like 9 and maybe even 10 more than 7 overall.
Oh man. Well, yeah. Okay, I can get that. 10, dude. 10 is so good.
10 is. I mean, I just replayed it again. It was just as good this time.
It's so wonderful.
But I am excited that Rebirth, they say, is coming out in the next year. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Whenever it comes out, though, it's just going to be another one of those. It's going to be like, man, I should really play a remake so I can play this.
So
Rebirth.
What did you make of the comment where they're like, it's its own game, you can play it on its own? Like, implying that you didn't need to play remake first. What?
That just makes me wonder if maybe in the beginning they do like a recap of what happened in remake, like a cutscene. You know what I mean? I really don't know, because other than that, I don't understand how that would make sense.
The thing that makes me wonder is, so if remake was in fact a remake and some sort of alternate timeline, whatever, there's a lot of stuff that you're going to get into when you play that game, right? Whereas Rebirth doesn't necessarily build off of that as much, and it's its own, like I said, standalone game. You just never know what these crazy people at Square Enix are doing. Yeah,
I see this article titled Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is no longer a remake and we shouldn't call it one.
I think I might have picked up on that as well. So it's not part 2. They made clear to do that, but
what if they were just like, swerve, we did a whole other game. This is actually Final Fantasy 16. Enjoy.
Sorry. There you go. Same thing. You'll like it.
You'll like it. It's got dragons.
Yeah. We might see I don't know if we're gonna see a dragon or not. Probably not. But
and then that also leads to I believe it's the Crisis Core remake.
okay, I don't have a lot to say about that one.
Good, because I don't. Oh wait, you say you don't have a lot to say?
I do not have a lot to say.
Man, I thought you said I have a lot to say, and I was like, oh, good. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know much about Crisis Core.
I mean, I know about the lore of it, but I didn't have a PSP, so I didn't play it. From what I saw of this new gameplay, I don't know if it's really something that I want to play, and I know that's blasphemy. I'm sorry.
Hey, I mean, there are situations sometimes where, and I'll use and it's not a JRPG game, but for the story it fits. I'll use a Plague Tale for an example. When we did that for the Steam Machine, me and Nate were playing it, and we were like, man, this story is really good, but this gameplay is just, So we ended up watching it. We watched a playthrough. I found like a playthrough with no commentary. And we both watched through that, and we were like, at the end of it, we did an episode, and we were like, this story is incredible. This should be a Netflix series or something. But we just couldn't get on with the gameplay.
I've seen a video or two of that, and all I see is like people in the sewers with like a million rats around them and a torch to keep them at bay. I'm like, that's terrifying. I don't want to do that. It's like a stealth puzzle game because you have like either of those.
yeah, you have to hide, but then like dealing with the rats is a puzzle. So like, yeah, it's interesting.
Ooh. And they've all got, is this like bubonic plague so they can all infect you with the Black Death? Okay.
Oh yeah, man. There's this particular scene where you're like walking through, I don't know if it's where they're dumping people or if it was a war scene or whatever, but it was just brutal. There's rats everywhere, and it's gross. Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting.
Was there anyone ringing the bells? Was there anybody with the bell singing, "Bring out your dead"?
I don't think so. That would be funny.
Okay, that was a Monty Python.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, dude, I love Monty Python. You shall not pass.
We always get off on these tangents, but yeah, apologies to any Crisis Core diehard fans. There's people that's like, that's my favorite Final Fantasy. I'm like, it kind of, so you can definitely see the inspirations in Remake's battle system. They definitely kind of look like that a little bit, in my opinion. But I don't know. Like, I know the story of Zack, so I don't feel like I need to play the game. But I've heard it's fantastic, so I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I know that from being in the world of video games for as long as I have, I know the connection with Zack and Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
You know, so that's not going to be a big revelation when I get to it, but I'm curious how. Like, I never figured out how, I just know what it is. Okay. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's like, I mean, they tell it during 7, but I guess to flesh out the story, it's kind of cool to see it all the way through.
Yeah, and I can imagine that when that game first came out, you know, obviously they're trying to push the PSP, so they're going to release, oh, well, what'll make people buy this? I know. We'll let people play as Zack. That's brilliant.
It's Cloud with dark hair. There you go.
Yeah. Let's take the Cloud model. Let's make his face look slightly less girlish. Black hair. Done.
Got it. Brilliant.
Perfect. Send it to press.
You're a genius. Give him a raise. No, I get it. Like, and I don't know. I'm glad they're doing that. You can tell. So that makes me feel like this game's coming out first, right? You need to play that in order to appreciate Zack's role, whatever it is, in Rebirth.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how that's going to tie together too. I'm sure the internet's going to have a hooey over it.
Oh yeah. So you need to play through remakes. So you need to play through 7 so that you can understand what that is and what's going in. You got a lot of game playing to do, sir. Not that you don't do enough already.
Yeah, well, at least I'll knock 7 out over the next month. And if I end up, because I think we're gonna do 2 parts, at least,
yeah.
And if I'm able to knock it out, then I'll dive into remake. You know, once I do that, and I also would like to. I might find a way to play Crisis Core, unless I might just wait until the remaster comes out. And
it looks like a straight up remaster. So I would think this would be the way to play it. It wasn't the best looking game ever. Of course, it was PSP. So
yeah, it was. I'll tell you, some of the PSP games that I've played that were sprites, like the Star Ocean First Departure and Second Evolution or whatever they were, beautiful. Yes. Some of the PSP 3D models, I'm like, okay, this is impressive that this runs on this PSP, but also,
yeah, it was definitely like what the growing pains that PS1 saw. Of we put this, PS1 almost PS2 handheld together, and so impressive, but here's the limitations.
Yeah, absolutely. So while we're on the subject of Final Fantasy, man, I got to ask, Final Fantasy 16.
So can I say, let me, before I answer that one, can I say one little tidbit about 7?
Oh, absolutely.
And maybe I'm in the extreme minority, but I'm actually looking forward to Ever Crisis. Or wait, is that right? Whatever the mobile game is?
The mobile game. I have not heard much about that. What is it supposed to be?
So it is it's a gacha game, of course, and it's probably going to be free. But it is the story of 7 in more like the original version with some kind of updated animated stuff and a semi-turn-based battle system. But yeah, you're going to get to be able to play that. They're doing, I'm going to guess it's going to come out by the end of the year. And I don't know. I'm just kind of excited to play something like that and get into it. But I think I'm probably in the minority on that opinion.
Oh, well, this looks cool from these screenshots I'm checking out.
Yeah, like they got different outfits and stuff for the characters, so I think that's kind of fun. But the end battle system graphics look amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at is the battle, and I'm like, wow, that Scorpion Sentinel looks awesome.
yeah, but like the cutscene, or not cutscenes, but like the gameplay with the storytelling and everything, it's much more akin to the original version.
Oh,
which is crazy that a smartphone is a million times better graphics than the Final Fantasy 7 on a console that we played all those years ago.
Man, there are times like you can take a picture on your phone now. That picture holds more data than all of the Nintendo games combined.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
not even close. Yeah,
I think all the Nintendo games that I have that my friend sent me, like I don't know if he got it from archive.org or whatever, but it's just a collection of the US released NES games. It's like 600 megabytes.
I was gonna say, is it even a gigabyte?
No, it's not. Super Nintendo is a little higher. I think it's like 2 or 3 gigs, but like the original NES is so small, and I'm just like, wow, some of these games are like a megabyte.
It's insane. Yeah. And I remember PS2 memory cards, 8 megabytes on this ginormous thing, right? I mean, it kills me.
This big hunk of plastic, it holds 8 megabytes.
Yeah. It ain't going to hold anything. It wouldn't even hold like 10 seconds of a song nowadays.
Yeah. And then I have right in front of me a flash drive, which is smaller than a memory card, and it holds 8 gigabytes.
Oh yeah. It's incredible. Like I think I got a little micro SD, and I saw it was like 256 gigabytes in a micro SD card.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah. So not to get off topic, but I will. Okay, now I'll answer your question, sir.
Are you excited about Final Fantasy 16, or are you apprehensive?
Neither.
Oh, all right.
But you're not going to like this. It's dead to me.
Wow, really?
I'm done. I don't.
What happened?
Nothing happened. It was the exact same fear that I had the first moment that I saw it. Like, that game is not for me. I wanted to love it so much, and if I didn't have to play the battle system, I'd probably play it. But as much as as much as I disliked 15, at least I could bear it. But this is single player Devil May Cry Final Fantasy. Yeah,
the Devil May Cry aspect is going to be interesting. I'll probably play it because I really like fantasy settings, And when I saw that they were going back to a fantasy setting, I was like, all right, you have my attention. I don't mind the action combat as much as you don't like it, I don't think. But I have my worries. And it's more so like I really like summons. Like that's been my thing. Like in all the games, like in 6, I just got access to all the first batch of espers that you get.
Nice.
And I'm like, yes.
Oh yeah, they're so good.
I love summon. I can't wait to start getting summon materia. Like I love what I call. I always call them GF, Guardian Force.
I know you would.
That's just what I'm used to, or Aeons. But I really hated how in 15 they were like situational.
They were event triggers or something. I don't even know how they even worked.
Yeah, I had Rama show up one time, and I don't know how I did it. He just showed up, and it was cool looking. But I was like, dude, why can't I do that? Like, say once every rest,
or something, or a meter. I mean, so I at least know when I can trigger it. Something.
Yeah, because there's summons in that game that I heard are awesome. I've never seen, like Leviathan.
No idea. Other than in the scene in the city where it's going on while you're trying to escape or whatever.
No, I haven't even made it that far in 15, so I haven't even seen that. But like,
sorry.
No, that doesn't. I'm not worried about spoilers. That game's old enough that I should have beaten it by now, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
But it bugged me that I couldn't just be like, a meter that you have to, every time you get hit and you do attack, anything. It's almost like building up your limit break. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have made sense to me. Like those are your limit breaks. Okay, cool. I can do that. And
even if it was situational as to like where you were located is what summon you drew. Like if you were near fire, Ifrit shows up, water, Leviathan, or that would have been peachy. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they just happen randomly is a bummer. But they seem to be a very big part of 16. These icons or whatever.
Well, yeah, they do like the icon battles or whatever.
Yeah, and so I'm interested, but I don't know if I'll want to spend $70 on it. I might catch it on a sale.
Right. I can't like, and that's not so, I've played Devil May Cry. I like that series, but I like Final Fantasy. And I don't see the need to change the game into something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we've not even seen a party. Like, you're not going to have a party even?
Yeah, that's the part that makes me most like I'll use the word apprehensive. I'm like, how do you not have a party system? That's a little odd.
Maybe they haven't shown it yet, but the battle system doesn't even lend itself to having a party either. It doesn't seem like that's going to be something that's a thing. Like you're just Clive and it's his story from beginning to end, and the character models and story kind of almost remind me of 12 a lot too. So I don't know. I hate to hate on it, but I don't want to lie to you either. So
no, yeah, absolutely, dude. You gotta be honest with everybody about that's what we do.
I hate that it's come to this.
Yeah.
I guess is the it started with 13, didn't care for it, didn't play 14 because I'm not online. 15 really didn't like, but at least I played all the way through. And this one's just like, well, this is obviously the path that we've been going down for a while, and it's here.
Man, I know you're not an MMO fan, but the story for 14 is so good.
I keep hearing it and keep not playing it. So
I'll tell you what, dude, you can probably find, and not that you would dedicate time to this, but if anybody's listening and you don't feel like playing an MMO, you could probably go on YouTube and find like compilation of story cutscenes and watch it like a movie.
Okay.
Because really, in between all the cutscenes, you're just going and doing MMO combat. And yeah, you might, fight Ifrit or whatever, but the meat of the story is coming through in cutscenes when you're doing these quests and things. They're so well told.
So 14 feels like, okay, universal acclaim. Everybody loves it. It's more popular than ever. To me, it feels like popular TV show's been out for 5 seasons and you haven't seen any of them. I'm that far behind and I'd have to catch up. So that's like a daunting task with somebody with limited time and resources.
Oh, brother. I have, how much time I have, and I've thought about starting One Piece, which, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I have enough life left to watch 1,000 episodes of something.
I don't think anybody does. At least they shouldn't. But
yeah, and I've seen people in like Reddit discussions that are like, "Oh no, if you haven't started One Piece, just don't even try. Just don't even. Try. It's so much to get into."
I'll just play the game and whatever happens.
Oh, that game looks really good, dude.
Yeah. I'm already sold on it too. Like I don't care. I'll just play it. I'm good.
I'm the same, and that's basically going to be my thing. Is like if that game like captures me, then I'll check the show out. But
I don't feel like I need to watch a show even after playing the game. But I get you.
Yeah, I mean that's just me. But yeah, that game looks fantastic, dude. The battle system looks awesome.
Yeah,
very.
That's what I'm into. That gets me excited. Is something like that.
Yeah, and it almost reminded me of Persona's stylishness in the selection of your moves and stuff. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's a little different than Persona gameplay wise, but just the graphics, the monster designs, I'm for it.
Yeah, it just screams like Dragon Quest VIII meets Persona's style. Yeah, with pirates.
Yeah. Ooh, and speaking of Persona, yeah, buddy. Yeah,
what about Persona? Did it happen?
Oh, I got goosebumps right now. Yeah, we all got.
Well, I guess
it
hasn't happened yet, but
we all are getting what we wanted. Persona's coming to PC. The older Persona's coming to console, and all of them are coming to Switch too. Everyone's happy.
Yes. Still surprising that's like it's not there yet. What we got to wait still for a 20-year-old game, but okay, it's better than it's never happening. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
I severely worry. They didn't say it's a cloud version of Persona 5 Royal for Switch, but I don't. How in the world are they going to fit that on a tiny cartridge?
Well, they just did it with Nier.
Okay, Nier is a 20-hour game, my friend.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Think about how much written and spoken goes on in that game. That's a lot of information.
That's true. But in the same vein, how long was Xenoblade 2?
Yeah, no, that's actually the first thing that popped in my head. But it just seems like there's going to have to be some sort of sacrifice, I'm afraid.
I bet it won't.
I'm waiting for it.
It probably won't look as smooth.
I don't see how it could.
You know what I mean? I would almost bet that the Switch will probably be based on the PS3-esque version of Persona 5, if anything.
Yeah, that was the thing that popped up in the comments. Like, this was a PS3 game. Obviously, Royal was PS4, but they could definitely go back to some old character models or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not a cloud version because I've heard about the Kingdom Hearts cloud version and it doesn't sound pleasant.
No, I think if you were on like the OLED docked, in your home with a good internet connection, I think it'd be just fine. But other than that, you're sure that's not a game you want to play on Wi-Fi. That's for sure.
No, not at all. That would be a time.
And I think they would have had to say, like, remember in Kingdom Hearts, they said at moment 1 this was a cloud version. So I'm thinking Persona 5 would have had to say that if it was going to be that way.
Yeah, and because I feel like Atlas is always pretty upfront about what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like they'd be like, hey, this is going to be a cloud version of this game. But they didn't, so we can cross our fingers that hopefully it'll be on a cartridge. What if it's 2? What if they're just like, this is the first 2-cartridge game?
Yeah, I doubt that. So the other parallel, the real parallel would be like Trails of Cold Steel 3 or 4. And the sacrifice in those games it was docked at 720.
Okay.
So maybe that's a concession they're going to have to make as well. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah. And then let's see. I only have one other thing written down here. I do have one quick question for you. When do you think that we'll hear more about Dragon Quest 12?
Never. So Square Enix has been so busy here lately. Like they've said other Dragon Quest titles, like the Treasure Hunters thing came out. We got Elysium's coming out. We got this version of Nier. We got all the Final Fantasies. You name it, Square Enix has announced it, except not Dragon Quest 12 and Dragon Quest 3 HD, which that's been on hiatus since it was announced.
I know they just went like radio silent on both of them.
Yeah. I mean, 12 at least you understand because that's like they just, trademarked the logo basically and put some flames behind it. But I have a feeling that's going to be kind of a PS5 swan song, if I had to guess. It's going to take a while to get that thing out.
Yeah. Hopefully, I've been seeing a lot of articles about Square Enix wanting to dabble in NFTs and blockchain games, and hopefully that doesn't bleed its way into our beloved series.
No, I that's going to be a deal breaker for a lot of people. And honestly, I feel like by the time 12 finally does come out, like NFTs won't be a thing anymore.
Oh, we can only hope.
Yeah, I think that ship has already sailed. People don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, I made one as a joke. It was just a picture of me in a clown mask. and I put it up for sale, and I haven't checked it since, so there's no telling.
Like you're a clown if you buy this clown picture and you don't
exactly.
own it. Congratulations.
The only other, or did you have anything else you wanted to say about like Treasures or any of those games?
No, I can't. I don't care one bit about Treasures, which I feel bad saying, but it looks so hokey to me. I don't know. Yeah,
it looks weird. I'll give you that.
People who like those games, I think, are really going to like this. And of course, I wouldn't love to know more about Eric and Mia's backstory as kids, but it feels, I don't know, it feels weird. Like
almost like a kid's game in a way.
Yeah, which is cool because there certainly needs to be more games like that to get kids into different games besides Minecraft and Roblox. Yeah. But as I listen to my kid in the next room playing Roblox for hours on end.
Dude, yeah, that Roblox and Minecraft, man, they both like swept the younger generation.
I don't know. I guess it's just that you create and connect with people in different ways. So I understand. Like we're all longing for that.
Yeah, we had RuneScape in Farmville.
Farmville. All my friends on Facebook playing Farmville. That's
right. Will you water my plants for me, please? Thank you.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, I know, right? The only other thing I have written down, sir, because I know that we're both big fans of the series, Star Ocean, The Divine Force.
Oh, I knew there was something else you had mentioned that we need to chat about. That's another game like I saw when it came out, and I think I saw a little bit of the last trailer, but again, I don't need to be convinced. Like that's day one.
Oh yeah, same here.
I'm so glad it's coming out soon. That's pretty encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. If I had an open spot, well, it's slated to come out this year, right?
That was September 29th, if whatever that's the number that pops in my head. So I may be wrong, but
I'll double check that.
It's super soon.
I wish I had another drop for my fantasy league because I would draft that for my fantasy league for the gaming fantasy league that we're doing.
Oh, you think it's going to do well? Is that the one where you like predict review scores?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
That's true. That's true.
Those games get dogged on review scores, even though I like them. So
yeah, that's true. Well, I won't give you too much information about it if you're radio silent on it, but I will say that something I thought was interesting that I wanted your opinion on is the story being split. So if you play as the girl, you get a more fantasy based storyline, but if you play as the guy, you get a sci-fi based storyline.
See, I knew they were split, but I didn't know that fact.
I think that's pretty cool. Like,
but I mean, they're still in the same party, aren't they? It's not separate stories.
I believe so, but I think that they're just told differently. Like, so there's like two different pathways that you could take, I guess.
Okay. I guess we'll go fantasy then.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably end up playing both.
Yeah. I mean, this doesn't sound like a Resident Evil 2 where you need to play both stories and it's separate. It sounds like it's just going to be catered maybe then towards one or the other. But that's always what Star Ocean's done so well is blending those two aspects.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, dude. Like the one that I played that I really enjoyed, I believe was Till the End of Time. Was that
the PS2 one? No. What?
Yeah, it was PS2 and I played it on PS4 when they released it on PS4.
Okay.
And then I've dabbled in Star Ocean 1, I've dabbled in Star Ocean 2, and then I've dabbled in Oh man, what's the other one? The one that came out on Xbox and then it was on PC.
Let's see, that'd be 4.
Yeah,
I can't remember the subtitles.
I have it on Steam.
Faithlessness and Integrity, or whatever it was, is the PS4 one. Wait,
The Last Hope.
Last Hope was 4, which I thoroughly enjoyed the HD remake of it.
Yeah, I have the full HD remaster on Steam, and that's another one that like I really want to get to eventually.
Yeah, I really, really liked it.
Because, but yeah, man, the Divine Force, I'm stoked for it. It looks really good. Even like it's got the character models remind me of Phantasy Star Online, which is not bad for me. But they're cartoony. You know what I mean? But I feel like Star Ocean's always kind of been that way.
It has. Yeah, that realistic cartoony look. But with it being sci-fi, there's no way for it not to be Phantasy Star looking.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
The only thing I'm concerned, like the flying mechanic, I hope it's not something you can just fly endlessly. It kind of looks more like a boost type deal, or just to get you from place to place, which I think would be fun.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
That could be fun, or they could do it like, and I hate to bring this game up, but Genshin Impact, when you use your glider, it takes away from your stamina bar. So like you can only glide as much stamina as you have, and when you run out of stamina, if you're not near the ground, you're just gonna fall.
Yeah, or you're climbing a tall mountain. Yeah, no, you can bring up Genshin anytime with me, dude. That's a fine subject for us to talk about.
Yeah, I think it's a great game. You know what I mean? I really do. If you can avoid,
you tell me one other game of that quality that you didn't pay a penny to play.
Yeah, I can't.
No,
except unless maybe you play the free Final Fantasy 14, whatever that spiel that all the streamers give. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you get to level 60 or whatever. That's probably the only equivalent you can even think of. But I enjoyed my playtimes all the time with Genshin.
As much as I liked like Phantasy Star 2 Online, Phantasy Star Online 2, and New Genesis, Genshin Impact's just a better game. And if you can avoid, like I said, if you can avoid the gacha stuff, and because there are ways to earn that currency.
Oh, I earned all my stuff. I had 5-star characters. It was, you just got to be patient.
Exactly.
That's not really something people are. So,
which I mean, I have what I call pooping games that are the phone games that you play when you're in the bathroom.
Yep.
And I've avoided spending money on those. So what's any different than?
It's the same deal. No, I mean, I've got my free game on my tablet that I've been playing for like 2 years. It's fun. I haven't paid a penny.
Yeah. Yeah. And usually if you stick with it, you can earn all the stuff that would normally, the whales, as they call them, the people who go and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on those games.
Oh yeah. No, that's the way I play. I don't know. I ain't got that kind of money to waste on stuff.
No, not at all.
I got real games I want to buy.
Yes, sir. Well, we've been going about an hour, my good sir. I don't want to keep it too long. Is there anything else that you'd like to touch on?
The only thing I want to say is I have been going through kind of a JRPG renaissance here lately. And it is all because of the beautiful OLED Switch model.
Oh, okay.
I treat yourself. I got me one of those. The new job has one particular perk, and that is some downtime. And so I don't think my boss is listening to this, but yeah, we have break time and, lunch, you get an hour. You only take about 15 minutes to eat. So yeah, I've been playing my Switch and it's gorgeous. Like that little screen is worth every penny. And so I'm getting near the end of it, got to go back and play my Grandia HD collection.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it looks so good on that little screen. Obviously, these older games, when you play them on a tiny screen like Vita looked, or, I guess Steam Deck would probably be the same deal. Like, they're not stretched out, so they look so good compressed on that tiny screen. And this one I have come to the conclusion I did not play Grandia 1 back in the day, because I don't remember any of this stuff. Yeah, I think I picked it up with 2 and then loved 2 and 3. So, this has been a real treat to go back and play. The dungeons are a nightmare. Oh, my goodness. Like old school gaming, I don't know if I can really do it as much anymore, but
oh yeah, the constant random battles.
Yeah, constant. Just the dungeons you couldn't see ahead of you, but it was like that overtop isometric viewpoint. So constantly run into enemies. You can't run away because as soon as they see you, they charge at you and ambush you. So you can't see around corner. Like, it is really frustrating, but the battle system makes up for everything.
That's what's up, man. You know what I would like to see on that the old OLED screen is and this will never happen because I think it was a Sony property, but Breath of Fire 4. Because
that would be nice.
I remember that game's sprites being so pretty.
Yeah, it would. I really was hoping, because Vita was a success. I was hoping for a Switch size Vita screen with Sony stuff. Oh man, that would have been beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you might be able to somewhat do that with the Steam Deck through nefarious ways.
You could, yeah. I wouldn't recommend it, but
no. We do not condone that here.
No, I guess I don't know what's the smallest OLED TV you could get. Like, that would be a really good way to play some of these older games, but I don't even know what that means. Like,
dude,
can you even buy a TV that's under like 55 inches anymore?
We should develop a small CRT looking TV that is an OLED in 4x3.
Oh my gosh.
And we would
that would sell like hotcakes to retro people.
We would make so much money.
Yeah. We should do that.
Trademark JRPG Report.
How to play your old JRPGs on a new TV that you want to dig out of your grandma's, attic somewheres.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be so. Yeah, because I mean, like, next is going to be Final Fantasy 9 after Xenoblade. I can't wait to play on that. Just that tiny screen makes such a big difference.
Yeah, everybody that I know that has upgraded to that version of the Switch has been like, wow, this is a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, of course, only in handheld, like, or sitting on, because I kind of sit on my desk and play in front of me, but it really has no value when it's hooked up to the TV. But so it's been kind of fun to explore my roots, and like, I've got the new the next Legend of Heroes, the cross-spell game coming out soon. I've got it for Switch, so I can play on the go like that. So it's been kind of cool to get back to the old school stuff.
Well, awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. All right. Well, then I guess I'll do the little quick wrap up here at the end.
Yeah, man.
If you would like to give us a follow on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/the JRPG Report. If Twitter is more your thing, it's at JRPG Report on Twitter. If you would like to join the Patreon and come and hang out with us in Discord and also get to see the Let's Play of me playing Final Fantasy VI at the moment, which was voted on by our wonderful patrons, you can go to patreon.com/JRPG Report. And I would like to give a special shout out to our patrons, Kim C, Jake W, Jordan K, Kularian, Taylor F, Luke C, and Master Loot. You guys rock. And thank you all for listening. If you want to catch me more often, bi-weekly, you can catch me on the Steam Machine Podcast's PC gaming show. And right now, like I said, we're playing through Final Fantasy VII. So if that piques your interest, check us out in about a week and a half. That'll be when the episode's coming out. Other than that, my good sir, I do believe that for old time's sake, you should send us out of this one.
All right, man. Well, thanks for having me. Of course, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thanks everybody for having me back in. It's good to talk to you guys. But until next time, get back out there and level up.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.